Hello and welcome to this video session on classroom management. My name's Ruth Hatfield and I'm from Evolution Culture. We're going to start this session by a brief introduction as to what we're going to cover in this classroom management session. There'll be an element of trainer conduct and an element of what you need to do to control your classroom. The control techniques are focused mainly for a classroom situation. However, you can adapt them to online sessions and many other situations. And remember, as a trainer, you're in charge of the session. Its success or failure depends on you. It's down to you to motivate, to instill enthusiasm in your delegates, your participants, and to impart knowledge to the group that is awaiting all your information. So we'll move on from there. Now this particular slide here, you may have come across this, you may have heard about this, but you have to be a certain age to have been involved. And I remember knuckles being wrapped with a ruler, boardroom rubbers being thrown. So, thankfully, no longer in use. So let's look at the aims and objectives for this video session. The aim is to introduce you to the key roles and responsibilities of a trainer and methods of controlling your classroom. The objectives, well, we have two objectives here. You'll be able to list the key actions of a trainer and prepare to include them in your delivery assignment that's part of your whole online course. Remember, you're going to have an assignment to deliver a short topic later in the overall course that you're on. And also, you'll be able to identify a couple of the common problems that arise with classroom behaviour that's not good, and you'll be able to list a couple of methods for each of how to deal with them. So now, what do you think the roles and responsibilities are of a trainer? What sort of things does a trainer have to deal with when they're running a course? Well, you probably think one of the roles, one of the jobs is to impart information, to teach the people some kind of topic. However, there's a lot more to it than that. And that's what we're going to cover now. We're going to take this circle, we're going to add to it, and then we'll take each one in turn and look at a little bit more. So firstly, you need to be a good communicator, which involves quite a few things. You're a coach. You've got information to give to these delegates, to these participants, these people who are waiting on your every word. You're a sounding board. Sometimes they'll be asking you questions. There'll be the little gripes, the little problems, and you'll have to deal with them. You're a facilitator. You're managing an entire group. You've got to manage how the course progresses from start through to finish. You're a mediator. Classroom disruptions, bad behaviour, things that you don't really want on your course, you're going to have to sort out. Any arguments, hopefully you won't get too many. You're a cheerleader. When you get some good things happen, promote happiness. Tell them that they've done well. Give them the pat on the back. And not forgetting the main course content. Of course, the topics, you are the subject matter expert. So you need to know your topics. Now, I'm going to work on the flip chart now. I'm going to put a little list of words and explain them in more detail to you. So we'll start off with preparation. We'll have Our second one, punctuality. Professionalism. And finally, presentation. Now, hopefully, as I've been writing those, you've been thinking, what does she mean? What is she going to say? Preparation, perhaps fairly obvious. You need to know your topic. Prepare, prepare, prepare. What you are about to say when you go on your course is very, very important. And I have a little slide for you now. A couple of quotes. To fail to prepare is to prepare to fail. That says it all, really. And then we have 5 Ps. These are often used in sales training. But poor preparation prevents proper performance. And we're looking for an excellent performance from our trainers. So that's our preparation. But there's also the rooms, the documentation. When you're running a course, there's an awful lot more than the content. So make sure you also know the logistics. When do we get a coffee break? What time's lunch? Where do we have to go for lunch? Where are the toilets? Where is everything? Especially if you're in a strange location, one that you're not familiar with. So the theme is all around the P's. We've got our poor preparation prevents proper performance. So we've got preparation. Now we move on to punctuality. Start on time. And if you have any delegates that are arriving late, then you need to consult with those that have arrived on time and just let them know how long you're prepared to wait. It's not fair on them to delay too long. But get their agreement, get the consensus of opinion, and then go with it. During your course, you will have coffee breaks. Depending on the length of the course, it may be just perhaps a short presentation. But if it's a lengthier course and you've got coffee breaks, lunch breaks, make sure that you stop on time for those. And finally, at the end of the course, finish on time. Don't overrun. There obviously are occasions where this will happen, but aim to always finish 10 minutes before. And if you finish 10 minutes before, your participants will think you're wonderful, and it'll be a real bonus to them and you. Try and build that into your course design. Our next P is professionalism. Now, one of the things there is however you dress, it reflects your personality and your opinion and your thoughts on your conduct for the day. How would you see me if I was in a scruffy t-shirt and jeans? Would you think, that's not very good? But because I'm a little bit more business dressed, then it's better and it represents what I feel is better and part of my job and a very important part of my job. You'll downgrade the value of the training in the eyes of your participants if you downgrade in your dress style. Now, presentation. On here, I'm going to use just 3 things. Eyes, speech, and stance. If you're talking to a friend, you usually look them in the eye. There is absolutely no difference when you're running a course. If you have a room full of people, they all like to feel involved, so you should look from one to another. If you have information to impart to these people, which you obviously have, then pick 3 people in your mind, pick on 3 people And as you explain a paragraph or a sentence, just glance from one to the other. And then for another section, another sentence or paragraph, mentally visualize that you need to move from 3 different people so that you include your whole audience and on a regular basis. Don't talk to the back of the room. It doesn't look good. Okay? Speech. What can I say about speech? What can I say about speech? And you'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. Well, your speech. If you have a quiet voice, then sometimes it can be misread as being uncertain. And if you've got a strong voice, it promotes authority. But that's not always true. Sometimes a quiet voice, and to say something quietly, makes them sit up and listen. They feel, oh, am I missing something? It makes it seem almost a secret that's being shared, and therefore perhaps more interesting. Moderate your tone. Use the rise and fall that you have naturally in your voice. Try to avoid jargon and slang. And watch out particularly for situations if you have people who are from other countries or the language that you're giving the course in is not their mother tongue, because some words in one language mean something completely different in another. So watch for those things. And don't be afraid of silence. If you need to pause to collect your own thoughts, it's not a crime. And also, it'll benefit your participants because they'll be able to have a few seconds silence to assimilate what you've just said and take it all in. And finally, the stance. Do you remember I was doing this? Well, people use gestures. People have annoying habits. There's the keys in the pocket. There's all sorts of things that can be very distracting. If you have an audience watching you, they'll pick up on it. So watch yourself. Get someone, when you practice running a course, when you do a pilot of your course, get someone to sit in and see if they can point out any annoying habits that you've got. And that. Also, when you're delivering a course, I'm standing up. It's better to deliver standing up rather than sitting down. It helps promote the, how can I put it? It helps you project your voice. Okay, let's move on. So, a quick summary here. We've got our roles and responsibilities circle. We said about preparation and processes. Review and understand your course materials. Make sure it's all there. You know the logistics. You're a good communicator and coach. Allow your participants to ask questions, contribute, practice, and enrich the course with personal experience. Not just yours, theirs as well. Draw that out of them with your questions. You're a sounding board and a facilitator. You're managing the course. Make sure that you support the participants, you'll allow them all to contribute, and tie things into their daily work activities so they have that link. And be open to new ideas from your participants. You're a mediator too. If there are any misunderstandings, you need to deal with them quickly and appropriately and resolve any issues and differences calmly and professionally. You're a cheerleader. Remember, a pat on the back, it's great. Is there anything that you've ever done in your life that you were worried about and you were nervous? And then when it was done, you thought, whew, I've done that. And someone says to you, well done. That's a really good job. It really boosts your confidence. And that's what you're going to be doing with the participants on your courses. recognise their victories and praise them. So now we move to challenging behaviour. Well, what is challenging behaviour? You've probably got a fear as a trainer. If you're an inexperienced trainer, you have a great fear of, well, what if no one says anything? How do I get them involved? What if somebody is disruptive and annoying? How do I deal with it? Well, we're going to give you some hints and tips on how to deal with that for the most common types of challenging behaviour that occurs. So we have a list now of some examples. We have negative thinkers, disruptive, the non-participative ones, the ones that just won't say anything, the angry ones, the domineering jokers, the ones who challenge and want to take control. There are many reasons behind this. It's going to be your job to try and probe and resolve and turn those people around from negative thinkers to positive thinkers and so on. But always bear in mind the reasons behind. There may be personal problems. You may not be able to correct that. But learning styles, the way that you're delivering that particular session or topic may not suit their particular style. They might want to be doing things and this is just a discussion. They may just not want to be there. Perhaps they don't think they need training. Perhaps they think they know it all. They may be uncomfortable with you or your method of delivery. So classroom management, I'm trying to give you a positive approach to it. We'll take 4 examples now. We have our negative thinkers. So you'll get the, I don't know why I have to learn this. I'll never use it. You'll get the body language, perhaps the arms folded, the legs crossed. Probe gently to identify why are they so reluctant to get involved, or why are they so negative. See if you can find some positive ways for them to deal with the issues. When they come up with the negative statements, ask them, well, why can't it be done? Why can't you do it? Why don't you see that as being possible? And provide reassurance. They may be negative because they don't want this change. Everybody has to change. There is a quote that says that the only human or humans are only educated when they've learned how to learn and how to change. It's an ongoing process in our lives. And highlight the benefits. That's something that will occur for all of our different types. Because if you can present the benefits of learning your topic, it may be that it not only benefits their company or who they're working for or what they're doing, it'll benefit them personally perhaps. So now we look at the non-participative ones. It may be that they just don't answer questions. It may be that they don't even want to be bothered to complete the exercise. Their body language, they'll be a bit slouching, not very interested. The ideal non-participative person picture. So now, again, ask very gently, discreetly, why aren't they joining in? Ask questions of them during a session where you know that they've got some knowledge. You may have identified that in an earlier session, so use them, incorporate them into your session to get the best out of them and to let them feel that they're really contributing. Build their confidence. So you're therefore providing the reassurance and encouragement to them. Highlight that necessity for involvement and perhaps the consequences of non-involvement. Depending on your topic and the way your course is being run, it may mean that if they don't participate, they don't do the exercises, they don't pass, they can't move on. And summarise where we are and what's left to do. The non-participative ones may benefit from that because they then see how much more there is to do, how much more time they've got to spend not being involved. Try and undertake exercises together to get them involved, and always give them your full attention. The disruptive ones, the ones we all dread. They're messing around, they're joking excessively. They may have got their phone, they may be texting. Remind them of the rules you set at the beginning. You may have said, no phones. You'll find that their body language, if they're not playing with their phone, they may be fidgeting with something else. They're tapping their feet, tapping their pen. There's always something they're going to be doing. They just don't want to be there. Well, try and ignore them initially. Blank them out. See if they get over it. It may be attention seeking. Take a break if you need to and have a quiet word with them. Remind them of the ground rules, like I said. No phones, perhaps. Use non-verbal body language. You'll see some excellent examples of that on the online session that we do. But by moving towards them, they realise that you're onto them and they may quieten down. If you talk assertively to them and explain that when they do something, it disrupts the rest of the class. It has this effect. Maybe they don't realise. Escalate it if persistent, and again, try including them in exercises. Get them involved as best you can so that they're not bothering so much with their tapping, they're bothering with trying to do the exercise with you. Finally, we have Mr. Angry. He may or she may be aggressive and nasty because they've been told, you've got to go on this training. Maybe they don't think they need it. And they'll be with the permanent blocking of the arms folded. They'll have a face that'll look angry. So acknowledge their feelings. We've all done things that we didn't want to do. Empathise with them and try and draw out of them what's behind this anger. Encourage them to discuss it, provide them with reassurance, and again, explain things such as the benefits that could be for them personally. And remember, training may be compulsory for that person. They have to do. But training and learning is compulsory for us all to move on in the world. So, I now look forward to seeing you again on the online session where we'll consolidate some of this learning in a couple of exercises for you. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.